Well, now to controversy surrounding rape kits. It has focused on the enormous backlog of untested kits sitting idle in police evidence rooms, something that we've reported on here at KTVU. But now there is a new CNN investigation, and it reveals a much bigger, more fundamental problem. Many law enforcement agencies are destroying the DNA evidence in cases that could still be prosecuted. In fact, CNN identified hundreds of cases in which police trashed those kits, many of them untested, even before the statutes of limitations expired. Alameda County District Attorney Nancy O'Malley has been a vocal advocate for clearing up the backlog of these rape kits and joins me now. Nancy, you've got to be disappointed in the CNN investigation.
Shocking is really the way I would describe it. We've been working on this issue for a number of years, and the fact that there still exists that police agencies that are just destroying kits. More and more states now are passing legislation to eliminate the statute of limitations, like California has done. But we still have resistance to taking kits out of a police evidence room, getting it into the crime lab, and if there's a DNA profile, getting it into a database to stop serial rapists or to catch people that have committed that crime.
You know, when I read this, my first question was, why? Why would a police department want to destroy potential evidence? And some of the department chiefs are saying, listen, we've got to make space in the evidence room. And these were cases in which it was determined they were closed, that they did not feel like there was any chance of them moving forward.
Well, first of all, the kit is a small box. So, of course, there are evidence rooms that get impacted, but a lot of police agencies have storage, secure storage, where they take overload from their existing evidence room. So I think the real issue is that, from a law enforcement perspective, the tides are turning, but historically they have never taken this crime as seriously as we believe they should. And that means paying attention to the potential forensic evidence, which is the greatest forensic tool that has come along in criminal justice and a lot of other areas where DNA has become so critical. So, but using DNA to really address sexual assault crimes is still lagging behind.
Yeah, and once that evidence is gone, I mean, it's gone. Talk about what you've been doing here to clear the backlog, especially in Alameda County.
Well, in Alameda County, we have been at the forefront of DNA as a forensic science in sexual assault, homicide cases, other types. When maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, we went to all of our police agencies and we did an inventory. We went with them in their evidence rooms and discovered we had 1,900 kits that were untested. And what part I did was I went to New York and learned how they eliminated their backlog, what was the process for testing that many. And in New York, they had 18,000. And then I started researching it and ultimately landed in the White House, where we were able to advocate now for over $170 million across this country to test rape kits for law enforcement. In my own county, we started systematically. I found money, I put my own budget up front, and we contracted with an outside lab in Virginia, and we just went through, we were sending 100 kits a month until we eliminated the backlog, and now there is no backlog.
Wow, that's incredible. So do you think that this really comes down to a lack of resources?
I think resources are an issue. I think a lot of times it's still being used as an excuse. There are many labs that, like the lab we use, that have a very inexpensive process. A lot of robotics are used now, so it's cut down on having to pay for 3 people when you've got 1 technician or 1 scientist. There are a lot of ways that money is being saved and has become more efficient and much faster. And I think that for some of our government labs, which they have to be involved in order for the evidence to go into the big database, that they're still, you know, first of all, this is not their only issue that they deal with in their crime labs, but we push really hard around this state with all of our law enforcement partners. The other thing is that our Attorney General, the Department of Justice, is the crime lab for about 48 of our counties, the small counties. And so we were really pushing our Department of Justice to pick up the pace, buy more equipment. I'm always looking for more money.
Yeah.
So that money cannot be the excuse not to seek justice for these people who are being sexually assaulted.
District Attorney Nancy O'Malley, thanks again for coming in to talk about this disturbing report by CNN. Thanks again, appreciate it. Alex?